Imagine waking at 4 a.m. feeling alive and clear while the world is still silent. You will feel the cool air and hear your own breathing as you stand ready to shape your day. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve more before breakfast? In the next minutes, you will learn step by step how rising at 4 a.m. will sharpen your focus and build real strength. We will show you how to set powerful goals, write down your plan, train your mind, and move your body to unlock new energy levels. You will hear real advice that you can start using at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Stay with us and discover simple shifts that will change your life. Hit subscribe and get ready to own your mornings and create a future you control. Are you ready to transform your mornings and your life forever? Let's start. Chapter 1. Wake up early daily to take full control now. Waking up early is not just about setting an alarm for 4 a.m. and dragging yourself out of bed. It's about starting your life with intention, with purpose, with discipline. It's the decision to take full control of your day before the world makes demands on your time, your energy, and your focus. And more importantly, it's the beginning of taking full control of your life. Those early hours when the world is still silent hold the key to the transformation you keep hoping for. Most people waste their mornings, hit snooze, rush through routines, and then wonder why they feel behind all day. If you want to change your life, start by changing your mornings, and that change begins by waking up early every single day. There's power in rising before the sun, not because it sounds impressive, but because it gives you something priceless: uninterrupted time, time to think, time to plan, time to focus. No one is calling you, no one is emailing, no one is posting anything that needs your response. It's just you, your mind, and your will. When you own your mornings, you begin to own your results. And when you own your results, you begin to control the direction of your life. Waking up early isn't a magical fix, but it's the foundation that allows every other positive habit to grow stronger. The first few days of waking up at 4 a.m. will not feel easy. You will want to go back to bed. Your body might resist, your mind might complain, and you'll have to decide whether your future matters more than your comfort. And that's the whole point. Comfort has never created greatness. It has never built discipline. It has never turned potential into reality. Getting up early is a challenge, and challenges create strength. The first small battle you win each day is against your own resistance, and that victory sets the tone for the rest of your day. You rise before the sun, and in doing so, you rise above the average mindset that says, "I'll do it later." Consistency is what matters. One day of waking up early won't change your life, but one day repeated again and again will. Every day you rise early, you take back your power from distraction, from laziness, from excuse. You say to yourself and to the world, "I'm in charge now." Because discipline is not about punishing yourself. It's about choosing what's right for your life, even when it's hard. And waking up early is one of those choices. A decision to be intentional instead of reactive. A decision to lead instead of follow. A decision to act instead of drift. When you wake up early, you create space. Not just physical time, but mental space. You give your mind a chance to settle before the rush. You allow your thoughts to form without noise. You can read, write, reflect, exercise, or just breathe. In those quiet hours, you don't have to be productive in the traditional sense, but you must be present. Being awake before the world wakes up gives you a head start on your purpose. It teaches you how to live life on your terms, not by default. You start the day with ownership, and that feeling of ownership changes everything. But here's what most people miss. Waking up early is not just about the morning. It's about who you become when you choose discipline. It's about the kind of person who doesn't wait for the perfect moment to act. It's about someone who doesn't need motivation every morning because they have commitment. Waking up early trains your mind to overcome resistance. It trains your spirit to lead. It's not the act of getting out of bed that changes your life, it's what it represents. Strength, order, clarity. You may ask, what do I do with that time? The answer is simple. Use it to build the person you need to become. Use it to study something meaningful. Use it to reflect on your direction. Use it to work on your fitness, your mindset, your vision. Use it to journal your thoughts, to track your habits, to write down your goals. Do not waste those hours with meaningless activity. Don't scroll, don't drift, don't numb your mind. Those early hours are sacred. Treat them with respect. You don't need a perfect plan to start. Just begin with a routine that grounds you. Start with waking up, drinking water, moving your body. Then sit in silence for 5 minutes. Breathe deeply. Let your thoughts settle. Then pull out a journal or note. Write down what you're thinking, what you're grateful for, what you need to improve. After that, read something powerful, something that feeds your mind. A few pages of a good book can shift your entire mindset. Then look at your day ahead. What matters most? What must get done? What are you committed to? No matter what, write that down, and then get started. Do not waste the gift of the early morning with hesitation or laziness. The real power of waking up early is that it forces you to be deliberate. If you know you're getting up at 4 a.m., you have to go to sleep early. You have to manage your time better. You can't waste your evenings. You can't binge your life away. You start to plan your hours more wisely. You begin to live with intention. That's what this habit builds. Not just early mornings, but a structure for success. You become sharper. Your days start cleaner. You stop rushing. You stop reacting. You begin building. And no, not every day will feel amazing. Some days you'll be tired. Some days you'll be tempted to quit. That's when it counts most. That's when your commitment is tested. That's when you prove you're not just chasing motivation, you're building mental strength. Discipline grows by doing what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. That's what early rising teaches you. Not to rely on mood, but to rely on character. Think about the version of yourself you want to become, the one with better habits, the one who finishes what they start, the one who stays sharp, driven, and focused. That version of you does not sleep through the morning. That version of you rises with purpose. That version of you respects their time. That version of you knows that comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every time you wake up early, you become more like that version of yourself. People will say it's too hard. People will say they're not morning people. Ignore that. Stop waiting for things to feel easy. Easy is not the goal. Growth is. Strength is. Focus is. Every early morning you win makes your mind stronger. Every early morning you push through makes your resolve tighter. Every early morning you honor your time. You separate yourself from average. That gap adds up. In a few months, your habits will be unshakable. Your mind will be clearer. Your work will improve. Your confidence will grow. And all because you made a choice that most won't. Waking up early is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's about saying, I will show up for myself, no matter what. That's how real change begins. Not in big declarations, but in small daily wins. The alarm rings, and instead of negotiating with your mind, you get up, you move, you breathe, you act. That is how character is built. That is how momentum is created. That is how lives are transformed, one early morning at a time. This habit will not just improve your mornings, it will improve your entire life. Because the way you start your day shapes how you live your day, and how you live your day shapes your future. You don't need more motivation, you need more action. You need to stop waiting and start choosing. Start choosing strength. Start choosing discipline. Start choosing control. And it starts with waking up early. Not just once. Not just when you feel like it. But every day. Even when it's hard. Even when no one is watching. Even when it's dark and quiet and the bed feels warm. That's where it begins. That's where the shift happens. That's where you become who you were meant to be. One decision, repeated daily. One step taken each morning. Wake up early. Take control. Build your life. The future you want is not waiting for you to be ready. It's waiting for you to act. And the time to act is now. The time to rise is now. Wake up and own your life. Chapter 2. Build a strong morning plan that fuels success. Waking up early is a good start, but what truly changes your life is what you do with that time. A strong morning plan sets the tone for the entire day. It gives you a sense of control, clarity, and calm before the world brings in noise and pressure. Without a clear plan, you may find yourself wasting the most valuable hours of the day, distracted, unorganized, or drifting aimlessly. But with a focused routine, you begin each day with direction. You walk into your day knowing exactly what needs to happen and why it matters. That kind of clarity doesn't just make you productive, it makes you powerful. You don't need a long list of rituals. You need a plan that works for you, one that sharpens your focus, strengthens your discipline, and supports the person you're trying to become. A strong morning plan is personal. It's not about copying someone else's routine. It's about creating one that reflects your goals, values, and priorities. It's about waking up and knowing the first hour of your day will move your life forward. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice, by design, by consistency. The purpose of a morning plan is to anchor your day. When you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, you stop living by chance and start living with structure. Every decision becomes easier. Every task has purpose. You're not waking up to react, you're waking up to lead. And that shift is where growth begins. When you have a clear plan, your mind is calm. You avoid wasting energy on small decisions. You know what to focus on first. You stay ahead instead of falling behind. The first step is deciding what matters most in the first hour of your day. That could be time for your body, your mind, or your work. But whatever it is, it must be intentional. Scrolling your phone is not a plan. Checking emails is not a plan. Jumping into tasks without clarity is not a plan. Your morning should never start with chaos or distraction. It should begin with something that strengthens your mind, your body, or your purpose. The morning is when your willpower is at its strongest. Use that power to build momentum, not to waste it. Start simple. Begin with a wake-up time that challenges you but is realistic. Once you're up, drink water to rehydrate your body. Sit still for a few minutes. Breathe deeply. This isn't about meditation, it's about stillness. Give your mind space before the noise of the world begins. Then move, stretch, walk. Do something to activate your body. Physical motion wakes up your mind. After that, review your goals. Remind yourself what you're building and why it matters. Write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Keep it clear. Keep it short. Just write what must get done and commit to it. Clarity is power. The reason most people stay stuck is not because they lack time or ability. It's because they lack focus. A strong morning plan removes confusion. You're no longer pulled in 10 directions. You know what needs your attention. You know what can wait. You stop reacting to life and start taking responsibility for it. When you build your morning with this kind of focus, you begin to master your day before it begins. You move into your tasks with energy instead of anxiety. You start the day grounded instead of scattered. Another key part of a powerful morning plan is mental fuel. Read something that feeds your growth. It could be a few pages from a book, a short reflection, a quote that reminds you who you are. This is not entertainment. It's input that shapes your thought. What you allow into your mind each morning will shape how you handle the day. Feed it with something that builds confidence, wisdom, and strength. Avoid junk. Avoid mindless content. You want your mind sharp and focused, not cluttered and anxious. You may also find it helpful to review your long-term goals each morning. Not in a dramatic way, but with quiet intention. Remind yourself what you're working toward. Reconnect with the bigger picture. When you remember why you're pushing forward, the work becomes easier to handle. The early hours are a perfect time to reconnect with your vision, because the distractions are still asleep. You can think clearly, you can see farther, and that's when your goals start to feel real. Avoid checking your phone or emails first thing. That habit puts you in a reactive state. You begin the day responding to others instead of leading yourself. Keep the first part of your morning protected. Give that time to you, to your body, to your focus, to your priorities. That's how you stay ahead. That's how you win. You create space before the world takes it from you. That space is where your discipline grows. It's where your confidence is built. Once you have your morning plan, the next step is repetition. A plan doesn't work if it's random. It works because it becomes part of who you are. You don't have to feel inspired every morning. You just have to follow through. Show up to your routine with consistency, even on the days you don't feel like it. Especially on those days, that's when the discipline gets stronger. That's when your character is shaped. It's not about motivation, it's about commitment. You may need to adjust your plan over time. That's normal. What matters is that it serves you. If something isn't working, change it. But never go into the day without a plan. Never wake up and leave your mindset, energy, and priorities to chance. That's how people get stuck. That's how time slips away. You have a choice every morning to take control or to give it away. A solid morning plan is how you make sure that choice is yours. This habit won't fix everything overnight, but it will start building something solid inside you. Clarity, discipline, direction. You'll begin to notice how much smoother your days become, how much more you get done, how much more peace you feel. You'll stop living on defense. You'll stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You'll feel more in control, more prepared, more grounded, and the people around you will feel the difference too. This kind of personal leadership doesn't need a big moment. It starts quietly, in the early hours, with simple choices done with intention. A bottle of water, a deep breath, a short walk, a focused mind, a written goal. And from those choices, a new life begins to take shape. A life with structure, a life with purpose, a life that gets better every single day. Your morning plan is not just a habit. It's the foundation for everything else you want to achieve. Build it strong, build it wisely, and never skip it. Because when your mornings are strong, your whole life starts to rise.
Chapter 3. Train your mind first thing to stay focused. The first few moments after you wake up are the most important for your mind. That is when your mental state is most open, most impressionable, and most sensitive to what you allow in. If you want to stay focused and sharp throughout the day, you must train your mind first thing in the morning before anything else has a chance to interrupt or influence you. This is not about becoming perfect or robotic. It's about building mental strength, clarity, and control before the outside world tries to steal your attention. Your focus is not something you find later in the day. It's something you build from the very beginning. Most people allow their attention to be hijacked before they've even taken their first full breath of the day. The phone rings, the notifications start buzzing, and their mind is already pulled in 10 different directions. But that approach trains your brain to live in reaction instead of direction. If you want your mind to stay strong,
You must begin each morning by taking charge of your thoughts, your focus, and your priorities. Before anyone else gets a piece of you, you must own the way you think. That's how you build the ability to focus on what matters most. Training your mind is not about forcing thoughts or pretending to be positive. It's about becoming aware, being intentional, and giving your attention to what strengthens you. The mind naturally drifts toward distraction, fear, worry, or confusion. If you don't take command of it early, those patterns take over your day. So the first step is awareness. The second is action. You start by noticing what you think about when you wake up. Are your first thoughts full of stress, doubts, or meaningless noise, or are they rooted in clarity, purpose, and self-control? The difference comes from training, and the training starts now. One of the simplest ways to begin this mental practice is by giving your mind a clear target. Ask yourself one question as soon as you get out of bed. What matters most today? Answer that honestly. Keep it specific, not a list of 10 things, just one. What deserves your best attention today? That one question brings your mind into focus. It forces you to ignore the noise and connect with something real. It might be a task, a habit, a conversation, or a decision, but it should be something that aligns with who you want to become. By starting your day with intention, you shift your brain out of autopilot and into purpose. Another essential part of mental training is silence. Most people fill every second with noise. They wake up and immediately turn on the TV, music, or their phone. That noise floods the mind with distraction before it's even had a chance to stabilize. But in silence, your thoughts become clearer, your awareness becomes stronger. Spend 5 minutes each morning sitting in silence. Not to meditate in some mystical way, but simply to observe. Notice what your mind is doing. See where it wants to go. You'll likely find it jumping from thought to thought, craving stimulation. That's fine. Just observe. By watching your thoughts, you begin to create distance between yourself and your distractions. Once you've sat in silence, choose a short statement or affirmation that brings your focus back. This isn't about repeating empty phrases, it's about reminding yourself of what you value. Say something simple and clear. I focus on what matters. I control my attention. I protect my mind. These aren't magic words, they're commands. They anchor your mind in discipline. The more you repeat them, the more your brain starts to believe and act accordingly. These statements help filter out the mental noise. They remind you who's in charge. Reading something meaningful each morning also plays a big role in mental training. Choose a few paragraphs that challenge your thinking, offer wisdom, or push you to grow. Not entertainment, not opinion. Read words that speak to your values and build your mind. A short reading every morning helps align your thoughts with truth and clarity. It feeds your focus with something real, instead of letting your mind consume whatever happens to appear. If you're serious about your growth, be just as serious about what you read. Journaling is another powerful way to train your mind. Write down what you're thinking, what you're struggling with, and what you're committed to doing. This is not a diary, it's a tool. Use it to bring structure to your thoughts. When thoughts stay in your head, they feel bigger and messier than they are. But when you write them down, they become easier to handle. The simple act of putting your thoughts on paper trains your brain to stay clear and focused. It gives you mental order. It lets you see what's real and what's not. Mental training also includes limiting your input. Don't flood your brain with information first thing in the morning. You don't need to check the news, scroll through feeds, or read every message you missed overnight. Most of that information is not urgent, and almost none of it improves your thinking. The more you expose your mind to noise, the harder it becomes to stay focused. Start the day with less input and more reflection.
Give your brain space, give it quiet. That's where strength grows. Another practice that builds focus is visualizing. Close your eyes and see yourself completing the most important task of the day. Imagine how it feels to follow through. Picture the process, not just the result. See yourself doing the work, handling pressure, staying focused. Visualization strengthens your mental discipline. It prepares your brain to recognize the path ahead. It reduces hesitation. When your brain sees the steps in advance, it becomes more comfortable taking action when the moment comes. Physical movement also improves mental focus. A short workout or brisk walk in the morning wakes up your brain. It increases blood flow, sharpens awareness, and signals your body that it's time to operate at a higher level. You don't need a long workout, just enough to break inertia and activate your senses. Focus is not just mental, it's physical too. When your body is moving with purpose, your mind follows. Use that connection to build momentum. To train your mind to stay focused, you must also know what to say no to. Distraction often comes disguised as urgency. Someone else's problem, a notification, a task that looks important but isn't. You don't need to respond to everything right away. You don't need to be available to everyone all the time. Protect your focus by guarding your time and attention. Say no to what doesn't matter so you can say yes to what does. This isn't about being harsh or extreme. It's about choosing growth over chaos. It's about deciding that your focus is valuable and your mind deserves better than noise. Every morning you make a choice to lead your thoughts or to let them lead you. To focus or to scatter. To act with purpose or to be pulled in every direction. Training your mind means building awareness, creating space, setting clear intentions, and following through on what matters. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes effort. It takes repetition. But each time you show up and choose focus over noise, your mind gets sharper. Your decisions get cleaner. Your actions become stronger. And with that strength, your day becomes more productive, more peaceful, and more fulfilling. Every focused morning builds a focused life. That's where your power comes from. Not from doing everything perfectly, but from doing the right things consistently. Train your mind early, and it will serve you all day. Ignore it, and it will turn against you. The choice is yours every single morning.
Chapter 4. Move your body early to boost your energy fast. The way you treat your body in the first hour of your day influences how you feel, think, and perform for the rest of it. Movement is not just a physical decision, it's a mental commitment to show up with strength. When you move your body early, you wake up every system that matters. Your heart starts pumping, your muscles engage, your mind sharpens, and your energy rises. You shift from slow and sluggish to alert and ready. That shift doesn't come from caffeine or motivation. It comes from action. Simple, consistent physical action that tells your body and brain it's time to switch on and show up. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a perfect plan. What you need is to move, to stretch, to walk, to push your muscles, to raise your heart rate. The goal isn't to train like an athlete. The goal is to activate your system, to shake off sleep, to take ownership of your physical state. Most people spend their mornings in stillness, dragging through routines, wondering why they feel tired by noon. Movement changes that. It lifts your energy naturally. It resets your mood. It builds mental strength that carries into your work, your decisions, and your attitude. Early movement trains discipline. It's not always enjoyable, especially in the beginning, but doing what's necessary instead of what's easy builds your ability to keep promises to yourself. Even a 5-minute session can spark a chain reaction that changes how you carry yourself all day. When you move your body, you start building momentum, and momentum leads to confidence. The more consistent you are, the more energy you create from within, without needing anything external to fuel you. Every time you move early in the morning, you are making a statement. I refuse to let the day control me. I choose to prepare my body before the demands start. You don't wait until you feel tired and try to fix it. You start strong and stay strong. That shift in attitude gives you an edge. You walk into your work more awake, more alert, more stable. You respond to challenges better. You stay calmer. You think more clearly. That's the real value of early movement. It's not just about fitness, it's about how you show up in life. There is a biological advantage to this habit. Moving your body in the morning boosts circulation. It delivers more oxygen to your brain and muscles. It helps regulate your blood sugar and hormones. It supports better digestion, posture, and flexibility. But beyond biology, there is a deeper impact. When you choose movement, you're choosing to meet the day with intention. You're not dragging your body through the motions, you're leading it. And that leadership translates into every area of your life. The most powerful routines are often the simplest. A few bodyweight movements, a set of push-ups, a short jog, a round of deep stretches, a fast-paced walk in fresh air. These don't require time, money, or motivation. They require a decision. You're not doing this for perfection. You're doing it to train consistency, to boost alertness, to build a strong foundation. It's not the complexity of the movement that matters. It's the commitment behind it. When you move your body first thing in the morning, you also create mental separation from the noise. Your attention comes back to the present moment. You stop thinking about stress. You stop worrying about what's next. You just move. And in that movement, your mind resets. That reset is crucial in a world where most people wake up and immediately fall into digital distractions. Movement brings you back to yourself. It reconnects you to your inner pace, your natural rhythm. It puts you back in charge. Consistency is what turns this from a task into a transformation. You don't need to crush yourself every day. You need to show up every day. A short burst of activity repeated every morning can build the foundation of a powerful life, because that movement carries weight. It says you value your health. It says you're willing to push when it's inconvenient. It says you're awake. Not just physically, but mentally. That identity starts to shape everything else you do. There's also emotional value in early movement. It gives you a chance to release stress before it builds. It helps regulate your mood before the day throws surprises at you. When your body feels strong, your emotions follow. You're less likely to react with irritation. You're more capable of handling pressure. You're grounded, not just in thought but in presence. You feel alive. That aliveness is what gives you the energy to do hard things. This habit teaches you that energy is not just something you either have or don't. It's something you create. When you train your body to move early, your body learns to respond with vitality. It learns to wake up quickly. It learns to prepare for action. That readiness becomes a powerful tool. When others are dragging through the first half of their day, you've already activated your strength, your clarity, your confidence. Excuses will show up. You'll have days when you want to skip it. Days when you feel tired, busy, distracted. Those are the most important days to move anyway, because what matters is not the quality of the workout. What matters is the message you send yourself. I show up even when it's not easy. That message builds mental toughness, and mental toughness is the foundation for every other success habit you want to build. You may notice that the more you commit to early movement, the better you sleep, the stronger your mindset becomes, the more productive your mornings feel. That's no coincidence. It's the reward of discipline. It's the result of pushing your body to act instead of staying idle. When you build that strength into your mornings, you build a base of energy that supports everything else. Your work, your relationships, your decisions, your self-respect. This habit also sharpens your relationship with time. You begin to see your mornings as an opportunity instead of a burden. You stop wasting those hours. You stop making excuses. You move because it's time to move, not because you feel inspired. That shift helps you start winning each day before most people have even started. You stop depending on willpower and start depending on who you've trained yourself to be. There's something powerful about looking in the mirror every morning and knowing you already did something hard. You didn't negotiate. You didn't delay. You moved. You took action. That sense of control stays with you. It carries into every room you walk into, every task you face, every challenge that shows up. That's the power of early movement. It's not just exercise, it's identity. And when you live from that identity, your life begins to rise, not by chance, by practice, by daily effort, by simple, repeatable actions that make you stronger in body, sharper in mind, and more alive in spirit. Move your body early, and your life will follow.
Chapter 5. Write down clear goals before the world wakes up. Before the noise of the day begins, before messages come in, before the pressure of the outside world tries to pull your attention in different directions, there is a small window of quiet. That window is where your clarity lives. And in that quiet moment, one of the most powerful things you can do is write down your goals. Not think about them, not mentally review them, but write them down in clear and specific words. When your mind is still calm, before distractions arrive, you are able to see what truly matters. That is when your intentions are the strongest. That is when your vision is the clearest. Writing down your goals early, while the world is still asleep, gives you the power to lead your day with direction instead of drift. Most people carry their goals in their minds, but never on paper. They think about what they want, but never commit it to something visible. They say they want focus, but they start the day already overwhelmed. The reason is simple. A goal that stays in your head gets lost in the noise. But a goal that gets written down becomes real. It moves from thought into form. It becomes something you can see, read, return to, and act upon. That shift matters. It separates wishful thinking from disciplined action. The act of writing things down forces your brain to get clear. You cannot write vague or confused goals and expect precise action. Writing brings order. Writing brings commitment. Writing forces you to define what you actually want. When you wake up early and take a few minutes to write down your goals, you're not just planning your day. You're setting the tone for how you're going to live it. You're making a declaration that you are choosing what matters. You're not going to leave it up to chance. You're not waiting for motivation. You're giving yourself a plan. That plan doesn't need to be long. You don't need to write paragraphs. You just need to get specific. What needs to be done? Why does it matter? What will you no longer ignore? These questions bring focus. They remove distractions before they can grow. Writing your goals first thing in the morning gives you a clear target. When you look at your list, you stop asking what to do next. You stop wasting time jumping between unimportant tasks. You see your priorities in black and white. That clarity protects your focus. It keeps you from getting lost in low-value activities. It guides your decision. Instead of reacting all day, you take action. And each time you complete one of those written goals, your confidence grows. You prove to yourself that your effort has direction. That you're not just busy, you're intentional. To make this habit work, you must keep it simple. Use a notebook, not your phone, not your laptop, something physical, something you can hold. Sit down with a pen and write. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect way to write. Just start. Ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things I must do today? Write the answer, then ask, what one goal will move me closer to the life I want? Write that too. Keep it short. Keep it strong. The power is in the repetition.
Every day you write these goals, your mind gets sharper, your actions get more aligned. You become the kind of person who leads their life instead of chasing it. There is a psychological effect when you take the time to write down your goals. Your brain begins to treat them as a priority. You're no longer just hoping for results. You're stating your intention. That act builds self-respect, because deep down you know you're serious. You know you're not just thinking, you're acting. And over time, you build a stronger relationship with yourself. You start to trust your own word more. You start to believe that what you write matters, and that belief changes the way you live. You may be tempted to skip this step on busy mornings, but that's exactly when it matters most. On days when life feels rushed, your goals become your anchor. They pull you back to what's important. They protect you from being scattered. You don't need to write a perfect list. You need to write an honest one. One that reflects what actually needs your time and energy today. And when you finish the day, go back and review what you wrote. Did you follow through? Did you stay focused? What pulled you off track? What worked well? That feedback helps you improve. It turns your morning routine into a system of growth. You're not doing this for a single day of productivity. You're doing it to build the habit of living with direction. You're doing it to shape a mind that wakes up with clarity instead of confusion. This habit builds mental structure. It gives your day form. It reminds you that you are responsible for your progress. No one else is going to write your goals for you. No one else is going to lead your life for you. It begins with your own hand, your own words, your own way. When you make writing your goals a daily discipline, you begin to notice how much more you get done. You realize how often you used to waste time. You stop settling for average effort. You push yourself because now you have something real to aim at. Even if you don't complete everything, you stay on track. You're not drifting. You're working with intention. That's what separates people who grow from those who stay stuck. Clarity creates progress. Writing your goals creates clarity. This is not just about achieving more. It's about becoming more. A more focused person. A more consistent person. A more disciplined person. And it starts with a simple habit. Sitting down in the quiet of the early morning and putting your goals on paper. Not because it's trendy, not because someone told you to, but because you know your life deserves structure. You know your dreams deserve effort, and you know that effort begins with a clear plan. You may not see results in the first few days. That's normal. This is not about speed. This is about structure. The discipline to do this every day adds up. It sharpens your mind. It improves your actions. It shifts your results. You stop waking up lost. You stop hoping the day goes well. You take control from the first moment. You lead. And with that leadership comes strength, direction, and growth. Writing your goals before the world wakes up is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to build a life of purpose. You are no longer guessing where your time should go. You're choosing. You're committing. You're building a path forward. And every morning you sit down to write, you strengthen the foundation of your future, not by chance, but by choice, over and over again, until it becomes who you are.
Chapter 6. Read something uplifting to grow your mindset daily. Your thoughts shape your choices, and your choices shape your life. What you feed your mind in the early hours decides how you see yourself and how you face the world. Before the demands of the day arrive, before your phone lights up with messages, and before your responsibilities begin to pull you in different directions, you have a rare and quiet window to set the tone. And one of the most powerful things you can do in that moment is read something that lifts your thoughts and expands your perspective. Not just anything. Something meaningful. Something positive. Something that builds you, not drains you. What you read daily becomes what you think, and what you think daily becomes who you are. Most people open their day with negative input.
They scroll headlines, read random posts, or take in gossip and complaints. They don't realize how deeply that shapes their mood, energy, and decision-making. Their thoughts become scattered. Their attention becomes fragile. Their motivation slowly fades. But when you start your morning by feeding your mind with uplifting words, words of wisdom, strength, clarity, growth, you gain a different kind of power. You gain the power to choose your inner world before the outer world chooses it for you. The first thing you read has weight. It enters your system when your mind is fresh, open, and unguarded. That's why it matters so much. You are not just passing time. You are programming your mind. Even a short paragraph, a few meaningful sentences, or a focused page can begin to rewire how you think. This habit doesn't take hours. It takes intention. The goal is not to read more. The goal is to read better, to read what lifts your thinking and reminds you of who you want to become. The words you choose each morning should challenge you. They should call you up to a higher standard. They should speak to your values, your mission, your strength. When you read from a source that reflects wisdom or truth, you begin your day grounded. You see beyond your current stress. You move past surface-level emotions. You start thinking with more perspective. That perspective becomes your strength. You begin to walk into the day with calm and clarity, not with confusion or doubt. You don't need a library of books to practice this habit. You need one book, one journal, one source that speaks to your growth. It might be something about discipline, something about resilience, something about purpose, but it must be written in a way that feels real to you. Not entertainment, not distraction. Real content, real insight, real lesson. Read it slowly. Let it sink in. You're not trying to finish chapters. You're trying to absorb truth. That's how growth happens, not by rushing, but by understanding. Reading uplifting words each morning gives your mind a filter. It helps you sift through the noise. You begin to see what matters and what doesn't. You start asking better questions. You become less reactive. Your inner dialogue starts to improve. You speak to yourself with more strength. You face your tasks with more purpose. That shift does not happen by accident. It happens because you're choosing your thoughts on purpose. And that choice adds up day by day. This habit also brings consistency. When life feels unpredictable, reading something solid each morning creates stability. It's a reminder that no matter what happens, you can return to your center. You don't need everything to go right in the world if your inner world is right. Uplifting content keeps you focused on growth. It reminds you that you have control over how you think, feel, and act. Even in chaos, your mindset can stay strong. What you read in the morning doesn't just affect how you feel in that moment. It affects how you approach problems, how you treat people, how you stay committed to your goals. If you read something that fuels discipline, you show up to your tasks with more effort. If you read something that encourages strength, you face challenges with more resilience. If you read something that promotes gratitude, you handle stress with more calm. You are training your mind to respond differently, and that training shows up in every corner of your life. Many people claim they don't have time to read each morning, but the truth is, they don't make it a priority. 5 minutes of the right words can shift your entire mental state. Instead of waking up and rushing into the noise, pause, sit down, open something that sharpens your thinking. Let those words meet you before the world does. That habit is not just about feeling good. It's about preparing your mind to face reality with strength and direction. You can start with a short reading and write down one insight that stands out. Not a quote to remember, but a principle to apply. Something you can live out that day. Something that challenges you to think better or act better. That small step turns reading into action. It moves the idea from your mind into your life. And once you start living out what you read, you begin to see real change. Over time, this habit becomes a quiet strength. You'll notice yourself thinking differently, speaking with more intention, responding with more patience. That's the power of consistent input. You are shaping your identity with every word you choose to let in. This is not a motivational trick, it is mental nutrition. It is about feeding your mind what it needs, so that your life reflects the strength you've built inside. Not every day will feel the same. Some mornings you may feel distracted or tired, but that's when this habit matters most, because even when you're not at your best, you can still choose something that lifts you. You can still train your mind to rise instead of collapse. You don't wait to feel ready. You choose to stay ready. And this daily reading becomes your foundation. If you want to grow every day, you must guide your mind every day. That growth doesn't come from wishing. It comes from structure, from doing the small things that lead to big change. Reading something uplifting is one of those small things. It doesn't demand energy. It gives you energy. It doesn't drain your time. It strengthens your focus. And that focus becomes your advantage in a world that constantly tries to distract and divide your attention. Build this habit. Guard it. Protect that first quiet moment of the day, and fill it with words that lift you. Don't trade that time for noise. Don't skip it because you're busy. Make it part of who you are, because once you start your day with the right thoughts, everything else becomes easier to handle. You are no longer reacting, you are lead, and that leadership starts with the content you consume, the thoughts you allow, and the mindset you grow. Read with purpose. Think with clarity. Live with direction. That's how you build a life of strength and steady progress, one focused morning at a time.
Chapter 7. Plan your day early to stay ahead always. When you take time to plan your day early, you create a clear structure that helps you avoid confusion, distraction, and wasted effort. Without a plan, your attention gets pulled in too many directions and your energy ends up scattered. The difference between people who make real progress and those who always feel overwhelmed is not talent or luck, it's structure. When you map out your actions before the world can interrupt you, you take control of your time and decide what matters most before anyone else can decide it for you. That early commitment creates an advantage that most people never experience because they're always trying to catch up instead of staying ahead. Planning in the early morning gives you a quiet space to think clearly. Your thoughts aren't clouded yet. Your stress hasn't built up. You haven't been pulled into other people's problems or opinions. That stillness is the best environment to decide what your priorities should be. You're not reacting to circumstances, you're choosing your direction. And when you know exactly what needs to get done, you stop wasting hours trying to figure out where to begin. You already know, you've already decided. That single act can save you from hours of wasted time and avoidable stress later. The purpose of planning is not to feel organized for its own sake. The purpose is to create focus, to make sure your energy is spent where it matters. Life is full of things that feel urgent, but don't actually push you forward. That's why planning ahead is so important. It protects your energy from being consumed by unimportant things. It helps you say no to distractions because you've already said yes to what matters. That decision alone puts you in a position of strength instead of being pulled by randomness all day. You don't need a complex system to make this work. What you need is consistency. Sit down every morning before your tasks begin and ask yourself what must be done today. Be specific. Not everything you could do, only the things that matter most. Then write them down. Make a list that's short, clear, and realistic. The power of this habit is not in making a long list, it's in making the right list. Choose 3 to 5 important tasks that deserve your best energy.
These are the actions that move your life forward. These are the actions that reflect your goals, your discipline, and your commitment. By planning early, you also reduce decision fatigue. Most people spend the day making small choices over and over again. What should I do next? Should I check my messages now or later? Should I work on this or that? All those tiny decisions drain your mental energy. But if you've already decided your direction at the beginning of the day, you no longer waste energy thinking about it. You simply follow your own plan. That clarity builds momentum. That momentum becomes progress, and that progress builds confidence that keeps you going even on hard days. There is a deep sense of peace that comes with knowing what to do next. You don't feel overwhelmed because you're no longer guessing. You don't feel distracted because your mind has direction. You don't feel rushed because your priorities are already set. This is the power of an early plan. It gives you a steady pace. You're not frantic. You're not scattered. You're calm, deliberate, and consistent. You move with purpose. And that kind of movement is what leads to real results. When you plan your day early, you also reduce the chances of giving in to excuses. Later in the day, your mind is more likely to justify avoiding hard tasks. You'll tell yourself you're too tired or too busy. But if those tasks were written down early, and you committed to them before the pressure started, you're more likely to follow through. Your plan becomes a promise to yourself. And the more you follow through on those promises, the more trust you build in your own discipline. Planning doesn't just help with work. It helps with how you live. It reminds you to stay present. It helps you protect time for rest, reflection, and connection. You can block time for things that matter to your mental and emotional well-being, not just your to-do list. Without a plan, even your free time gets stolen by distractions. But with a plan, you become more intentional in everything you do. You're not just surviving the day, you're designing it. This habit also helps you recover faster when the unexpected happens. Even the best plans get interrupted sometimes. But when you have a clear structure, it's easier to adjust without losing your focus completely. You can return to your list. You can reset your direction. You don't spiral into stress or panic because you have something solid to come back to. That kind of mental flexibility only exists when your day has a strong starting point. And that starting point comes from planning early. You don't need motivation to do this. You need a decision. Decide that your time matters too much to waste. Decide that your goals deserve a system. Decide that your future deserves more than guessing and reacting. That decision becomes a discipline, and discipline builds momentum over time. Every day you stick to this habit, you become more focused, more consistent, and more in control of your life. It's not always easy. Some mornings you'll feel tired. Some mornings you'll be tempted to skip the plan and just dive into the chaos. But that's exactly when you need this most. Because this is not about perfect days, it's about showing up with direction, no matter what. Some days you'll complete your entire plan. Some days you won't. That's fine. What matters most is that you're no longer drifting. You're thinking ahead. You're moving with intention. As this habit becomes part of your routine, you'll notice you start getting more done with less stress. You won't feel as scattered or behind. You'll feel ahead, because you are. You'll walk into your day already knowing what needs your time, your effort, your focus. That feeling changes how you carry yourself. It changes how others see you. It changes how you feel about your own progress. Success isn't built in big moments. It's built in small, consistent actions, repeated every single day. Planning your day early is one of those actions. It seems simple, but it creates a ripple effect across everything else. You start leading your time. You start owning your energy. You stop being reactive and start becoming intentional. That kind of mindset separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. You don't have to plan every detail of your life. You just have to plan your day before it starts. That early effort, repeated day after day, compounds into a life of greater clarity, consistency, and control. You don't get ahead by working longer. You get ahead by thinking better. And that better thinking begins the moment you take time, before the world can steal it, to write down what truly matters. That one step puts you ahead before the day even begins.
Chapter 8. Do hard tasks first to win the whole day. Starting your day by tackling the hardest tasks sets the tone for productivity and mental strength that carries throughout every hour that follows. This practice isn't about punishing yourself or trying to get through unpleasant chores as quickly as possible. It's about seizing the moment when your energy, focus, and willpower are at their peak. Early in the day, your mind is freshest, your distractions are fewest, and your ability to concentrate is strongest. Facing the difficult tasks first leverages this natural window of clarity and power. It means you don't waste your best mental resources on easy or trivial matters. Instead, you invest them where they count most, and that investment pays dividends by creating a sense of achievement and momentum that drives your entire day forward. When you leave hard tasks for later, it's easy for procrastination to creep in. The mind instinctively seeks comfort and avoidance. Complex projects, challenging decisions, or anything requiring deep focus can feel overwhelming if delayed. That dread builds as the day progresses, and your energy dips suddenly. What seemed manageable in the morning becomes a mountain in the afternoon. But starting your day by attacking these challenges head-on prevents that build-up. You break down the mental resistance early, and instead of fearing those tasks, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable of doing what others tend to avoid. That proof strengthens your mindset, and that strength is what separates consistent achievers from the rest. Completing hard tasks early creates a psychological advantage. Each difficult task finished is a win, a trophy you carry with you. That win fuels your motivation. It reduces the anxiety and stress that can otherwise drag down your entire day. You don't have to wait to feel productive. You become productive immediately. This early success transforms your attitude. When you face the easier tasks later, you do so with a sense of mastery. You've already proven you can handle pressure. This change in perspective turns mundane activities into breaks, rather than obstacles. There's also a practical benefit. Hard tasks often require uninterrupted time and mental clarity. They demand sustained focus, problem-solving skills, and creativity. The early hours provide these conditions naturally. There are fewer emails, fewer calls, fewer distractions. Your environment is quiet. Your brain is not yet exhausted from decision-making. Taking advantage of this period is strategic. You ensure your most important and demanding work receives your full attention and best effort. This practice increases the quality of your output and reduces errors that often occur when tackling such work later under fatigue. To make this habit effective, it's crucial to identify what qualifies as a hard task. These are the projects, calls, reports, or decisions that you tend to avoid or that carry the most weight toward your goals. You must be honest with yourself about what requires your highest focus. Writing a simple list the night before or first thing in the morning can help. Pick the top 1 or 2 hard tasks to do first, then move on to easier or routine jobs. The list keeps you accountable and reminds you where to focus your energy. It prevents distraction from less important but more tempting activities. Starting with hard tasks also develops resilience. You train your mind to face discomfort rather than avoid it. This mental toughness carries into other parts of your life, relationships, personal growth, long-term goals. You become someone who acts despite fear, hesitation, or uncertainty. That kind of character wins repeatedly.
Every time you push through resistance in the morning, you build the muscle to handle bigger challenges later. You strengthen the habit of discipline, which is foundational to success. This habit reduces decision fatigue because you remove the biggest decision, whether to face the hardest task or avoid it early on. Once that decision is made and acted upon, the rest of the day feels lighter. You spend less time debating with yourself. You stop wasting energy on excuses. Instead, you spend your mental resources on progress. That conservation of willpower and focus makes you more efficient and less prone to burnout. The habit also enhances your time management. Hard tasks often require blocks of uninterrupted time. By scheduling them early, you protect that time. You avoid letting your calendar fill with meetings, errands, or interruptions. You command your schedule rather than being controlled by it. This ownership of your time is empowering. It lets you work in your natural productivity zone and accomplish more in less time. The result is not just more work done, it's better work done. It's important to accept that the start will be uncomfortable. Hard tasks are called hard for a reason. You will feel resistance. You might want to delay. You might doubt your ability. But these feelings are signals of growth, not failure. Facing discomfort is where change happens. When you persist through the initial struggle, you create a breakthrough. The satisfaction of completing a tough job early reinforces your identity as someone who takes action, who doesn't shy away from challenges. That identity shift is permanent and foundational. This habit also shifts your relationship with stress. Instead of letting stress accumulate throughout the day, you confront it immediately. You take control of your workload rather than letting it control you. This proactive approach minimizes overwhelm and anxiety. You develop confidence in your ability to handle what comes your way. That confidence reduces the impact of future stress and makes you more adaptable. The benefits extend beyond work. Taking on hard tasks first creates a pattern of prioritizing what matters most in all areas of life. You learn to deal with difficult conversations, personal challenges, or growth opportunities with the same courage. This daily practice strengthens your overall capacity to handle life's difficulties with grace and focus. It builds a foundation of discipline that supports every goal you pursue. To maintain this habit, avoid perfectionism. The goal is progress, not flawless execution. Start by identifying one hard task to complete each morning. As you build confidence, increase your focus or add more challenging work. Celebrate small wins without judgment. Each effort moves you forward. Consistency over time transforms your approach to work and life. You become a person who faces challenges immediately instead of deferring them. You become the person who wins the day before the world even wakes up. Choosing to do the hard work first is a powerful way to reclaim control over your time and energy. It prevents overwhelm by breaking large problems into manageable actions, done when your mind is strongest. It builds momentum and confidence that propels you forward. It trains resilience that influences every part of your life. This habit is more than productivity, it's an attitude of ownership, discipline, and courage. Starting your day with hard tasks is the foundation for daily wins and long-term success. It is how you stop reacting and start leading. This simple shift transforms your relationship with work, stress, and achievement. It creates a life built on steady progress, fueled by deliberate action. When you face your hardest tasks first, you win the day. And winning the day means winning your life.
Chapter 9. Reflect on your progress every single morning. Reflection is one of the most powerful tools for growth, yet it is often overlooked or rushed through in our busy lives. Taking time each morning to look back on your progress sharpens your awareness and deepens your understanding of where you are and where you want to go. This practice turns vague intentions into clear insights and helps you avoid repeating mistakes or wandering aimlessly. When you reflect daily,
You build a habit of self-honesty that fuels lasting change. It's not about judging yourself harshly or dwelling on what went wrong. It's about learning from experience with kindness and clarity so you can move forward stronger. Starting your day by reviewing your progress anchors you in reality. It prevents you from drifting into wishful thinking or getting caught up in distractions. By honestly assessing what you accomplished, what held you back and what you learned, you gain a more accurate view of your efforts and results. This clarity builds a foundation for better decisions, stronger habits, and more focused action. When you know exactly where you stand, you can adjust your course quickly and avoid wasting time or energy on things that don't serve your goals. Reflection creates space for gratitude and recognition, which are vital to motivation. It's easy to overlook the small wins when you're always chasing the next goal, but acknowledging what you've done, even tiny steps, builds confidence and momentum. Every morning, take a moment to celebrate what you achieved yesterday. That simple act rewires your brain to notice progress instead of failure. It reminds you that growth is happening, even if it's slow or imperfect. This positive reinforcement strengthens your commitment and helps you face new challenges with optimism. A consistent morning reflection practice also reveals patterns in your behavior and mindset. Over time, you begin to see what habits help you succeed and which ones hold you back. You notice when you're most productive or when certain distractions tend to derail you. This awareness gives you the power to design your environment and routines more effectively. You can build on your strengths and proactively address your weaknesses. Without reflection, these patterns remain invisible and change becomes much harder. To make reflection practical and impactful, keep it simple. Use a journal, notebook, or even a digital app to record your thoughts each morning. Ask yourself 3 questions. What did I accomplish yesterday? What challenges did I face? What can I improve today? These questions guide your focus without overwhelming you. Write honestly and without judgment. The goal is clarity, not perfection. Over time, your answers become a map of your journey, showing how far you've come and what's left to do. Reflection sharpens your emotional intelligence by helping you understand how your feelings affect your actions. Often setbacks or frustrations stem from emotional responses rather than external circumstances. By reflecting, you can identify moments where emotions influenced your decisions, allowing you to develop better control over your reactions. This emotional self-awareness builds resilience and helps you stay steady under pressure. It also strengthens your ability to handle criticism, setbacks, and uncertainty with calm and balance. This habit connects your past efforts to your future goals, creating a continuous loop of learning and growth. Each morning you close the gap between where you were and where you want to be. Reflection turns mistakes into lessons and failures into stepping stones. It turns routines into rituals with purpose. When you make reflection part of your daily discipline, you create a feedback system that keeps you honest, motivated, and adaptable. Many avoid reflection because it feels uncomfortable or exposes weaknesses. But growth requires facing reality, even when it's hard. Reflection done with kindness transforms discomfort into opportunity. It shifts your mindset from blaming or excusing to understanding and improving. This shift builds mental toughness and a growth mindset that becomes a source of strength during difficult times. The power of reflection also lies in its consistency. Occasional reflection brings insight, but daily reflection builds mastery. It trains your mind to pause, assess, and course-correct regularly. This habit prevents small issues from turning into big problems. It helps you maintain progress on long-term goals by keeping you aligned with your purpose. It reduces overwhelm by breaking progress into manageable steps. Reflection is not a one-time fix. It's a lifelong tool that evolves as you evolve. Incorporating reflection into your morning routine reinforces all the other habits you build. After reviewing your progress, you can better set your goals for the day, focus on priorities, and manage your energy wisely. Reflection enhances your ability to plan effectively, make better choices, and stay disciplined. It creates a feedback loop that makes every action smarter and more intentional. You don't need to spend hours reflecting to see benefits. Even 5 minutes can transform your mindset and your day. The key is regularity and sincerity. Sit quietly each morning, ask yourself the right questions, and write down your answers. Over time, this simple practice deepens your insight and builds a stronger connection between your daily actions and your bigger vision. Reflection also helps you appreciate progress beyond results. Sometimes growth isn't visible in outcomes, but in shifts in mindset, habits, or attitude. By reflecting, you notice these subtle changes and acknowledge them. This recognition keeps you motivated during plateaus or slow phases. It reminds you that success is a journey, not just a destination. When you commit to reflecting every morning, you build a habit that sharpens your mind and strengthens your character. You become more aware of your choices, more compassionate with yourself, and more focused on what truly matters. Reflection is the practice of leadership over your own life. It turns experience into wisdom and effort into progress. By making reflection a daily habit, you ensure that each day builds on the last, moving you steadily toward the person you want to become and the life you want to live.
Chapter 10. Repeat your winning morning routine without any excuse. Consistency is the true engine of transformation. Building a morning routine that works is just the beginning. The real power lies in repeating that routine every day without making excuses or allowing distractions to derail your progress. When you commit to showing up for yourself again and again, no matter how you feel, you start to build unstoppable momentum. This daily repetition turns intentional actions into habits and habits into a new way of living. It creates a foundation of discipline that supports every goal and dream you have. Excuses are the enemy of consistency. They sneak in quietly, disguised as reasonable explanations. You might say you're too tired, too busy, or just not in the mood. Maybe the weather is bad, or something unexpected came up. These reasons can sound convincing, but they are simply choices in disguise. Every time you give in to excuses, you give away control over your life. But when you refuse to let excuses break your routine, you reclaim that control. You prove to yourself that your commitments matter more than temporary feelings or circumstances. That mindset shift creates a powerful sense of ownership over your success. Repeating your routine without excuse requires preparation and self-awareness. You must know exactly what your winning morning routine includes and why each step matters. When you understand the purpose behind your actions, it's easier to stay motivated. This clarity helps you push through resistance because you see your routine as a non-negotiable part of becoming your best self. You don't just do these things because they are nice or helpful, you do them because they are essential. This perspective transforms your routine from a task list into a personal standard. Habits form through repetition, but repetition only builds strength when it happens consistently. Skipping days weakens your progress and makes it harder to get back on track. Each missed day chips away at your confidence and invites doubt. However, each day you commit strengthens your resolve. You train your mind and body to expect this routine as part of your identity. Over time, you reach a point where skipping the routine feels unnatural. The habit becomes a natural part of who you are, not just something you do. To maintain consistency, it's crucial to remove obstacles before they arise. Plan your evenings so that your mornings start smoothly. Prepare your space, set out your materials, and go to bed early enough to support your wake-up time.
Eliminate distractions that might tempt you to skip your routine. When your environment supports your habit, you create fewer opportunities for excuses to take hold. This kind of proactive preparation makes it easier to follow through even on difficult days. Mindset plays a key role in repeating your routine daily. You must develop a mindset that values discipline over motivation. Motivation fluctuates. It comes and goes with your mood and circumstances. Discipline, however, is a commitment that persists regardless of how you feel. When motivation is low, discipline carries you forward. This mindset shift is essential because it anchors your progress in action, not just feelings. You learn to act despite discomfort or uncertainty. That resilience becomes your greatest asset. Accountability helps maintain this consistency. Sharing your goals and routine with a trusted person or group creates external support that reinforces your commitment. Knowing someone else is aware of your intentions increases your chances of following through. Accountability partners can offer encouragement on tough days and celebrate your progress with you. This connection adds a layer of motivation and reminds you that your efforts matter beyond yourself. Flexibility within your routine is important too. Life is unpredictable, and rigid routines can sometimes lead to frustration or burnout. Instead of abandoning your routine completely when circumstances change, adapt the steps to fit the situation while maintaining core principles. For example, if you can't do your full workout, do a shorter version. If you can't meditate for the usual time, spend a few focused minutes instead. The goal is to keep the habit alive in some form, preserving the momentum that fuels your growth. Tracking your progress reinforces your commitment. Use a journal, calendar, or app to mark each day you complete your routine. Seeing your streak grow provides a visual reminder of your consistency. This positive feedback loop encourages you to keep going and strengthens your belief in your ability to stick with your plan. Celebrating small wins along the way boosts your confidence and makes the journey enjoyable. Self-compassion is vital as well. There will be days when you stumble or fall short. Treat these moments as learning opportunities rather than failure. Avoid harsh self-judgment that can lead to giving up. Instead, recognize that setbacks are natural in any process of change. Reflect on what caused the break in routine and plan how to prevent it next time. Then recommit to your habit with renewed focus. This balanced approach maintains your momentum without letting perfectionism derail your progress. The cumulative effect of repeating your winning morning routine daily is profound. Over weeks and months, small actions compound into significant transformation. Your energy levels rise, your focus sharpens, and your confidence grows. You begin each day aligned with your purpose and equipped to handle challenges effectively. This daily practice reshapes your identity. You become someone who takes consistent action, who values progress over perfection, and who refuses to be controlled by excuses or distractions. Ultimately, repeating your morning routine without excuse is an act of self-respect and self-leadership. It shows that you prioritize your growth and honor your commitments to yourself. This habit creates a ripple effect across all areas of life, improving your relationships, work, health, and mindset. It turns your intentions into reality and your potential into result. When you live this way, you don't just hope for change, you create it. Consistency is not glamorous or flashy, but it is unstoppable. It is the difference between dreaming about success and actually achieving it. The secret to winning your life lies in those quiet, early hours when you choose to rise and repeat the actions that build your best self. No matter what challenges or distractions come your way, show up for yourself daily. Repeat your winning morning routine without excuse and watch how your life changes one day at a time.